Hey guys, it's Robin, RsIslandCrafts, and welcome to my craft room. It's WiP It Wednesday. That means I want to show you what I worked on in the craft room, whether it was just a couple little stitches or 2 minutes worth of my time, or I worked on it for the majority of my week. I gotta say, I've got a pretty small pile sitting next to me this week. If you watched my Talk to Me Tuesday yesterday, you have seen this quilt in all its glory. It's a tiny little thing. It only measures about 31 by 36, but I'm going to add a little extra to it, and it'll make it probably 36 by 36 square. Haven't gotten to it yet. But these were more of my string quilts, string blocks, I'm sorry, that I turned into half square triangles. So if you picture this right here is one block, and these were all strings going across and in half and half. I'm hoping to have the video on how I make these later this week. So come back on Friday and check out my Sew With Me video, and it'll either be this video on how to make these blocks or a surprise that I don't know about yet. So there's my quilt for the week. I'm really still, I say it all the time, but I'm enjoying having these as my backdrop on my WiP It Wednesday. And I think I still like last week's quilt better, but this still a good favorite for me this week, but not my favorite. I want to show you what I spent most of my time on this week. I got to the pink on my gray and pink shawl. You guys might not even remember that I was going to add pink because it's been gray forever. I decided that I'm going to only take this with me to the cancer center, and we are now going 5 days a week, so I'm going to have plenty of time to work on it. This is one of those shawls that start, let me see where I started at down here. It started with they usually start with like 7 stitches. So this one, sometimes it's at a point, but this one's not quite to a point. It's more of a crescent shawl. This is the Beach Bum shawl. And every time I get to one of these little lace eyelet parts, you double the amount of stitches. So if you had 100, now you have 200. Now you have 400, but that's not how it is. Whatever those numbers were. I believe I purchased this pattern, but I am up to having about 400 stitches on my needles. As you can see, they're pretty well jammed onto here. Last week, this shows you how much I've actually knit on it this week. That's quite a bit, a lot of stitches. It's a lot of hours of knitting on this. I'm finally to the part that I enjoy, but after working on all this stockinette stitching here, I'm getting a little bit, not fed up or frustrated. I'm just ready to finish the shawl and move on to the next project. That's one of the little things about shawl knitting. If you're knitting a really large shawl, it takes a long time to do it. So if you have a lot of boring stuff to go, did I say stockinette stitch? This is all garter. It's all knitting, knitting, knitting. So all you're going to do is knit back and forth. Boom, 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 boom. They have a little bit of increases here. Different places as you're going. And now finally I'm going to get into some of the fun parts. There's a little bit of lightweight lace work in here. You can't really see it yet because I'm just starting it. I've only done one repeat of the pattern. For anyone who's familiar with Feather and Fan or the old shale pattern, that's basically what we're going to be doing here. I have my little stitch markers. I section it off so that I know to make sure I have the right amount of stitches everywhere. I'm almost done with the gray. There's this little, you're kind of not fading it, but you're striping it and you're moving from the gray, bringing in the pink, and then at the end it's just all pink. I'm still using the Caron Simply Soft. This one is just a plain regular yarn. This one was a heather gray. This color is soft pink. It's a very nice, definite soft pink. I'm hoping I should have enough. I was going to run out of, I've already bought 2 skeins of this, and I would have needed to purchase a third one, but I was only going to use it for such a short amount that instead of knitting, I was supposed to knit to 64 rows here. I knit to 58 or 59, I believe. So I did cut it a little short. It's not going to shorten the length of the shawl because I'm just going to go ahead and add some more pink to the bottom. And as you can see, it is it's a nice long shawl anyways. It's already nice and deep. You can't see as far as I'm stretching it Right now it is past 24 inches, so it's going to be definitely long enough to cover the back and snuggle up in and wrap it around your shoulders, which is what I want. This is going to be a gift for a friend, which is probably why I'm still working on it, because let's face it, if this was just something for me, I would have shoved it into my project bag and I would have hung it up on the wall and I would have left it there and got back to it eventually. But because I want my friend to have this gift and I want them to be able to use it before we get into the heat of the summer, I am pushing forward. I'm hoping to have this done sometime during this next week of chemo treatments and office visits and whatnot. I've recently made a little life update video. I don't know if I've posted it before this video or after, but you'll either already know what we've been up to or you'll be hearing about it in the next day or two. I even had to upgrade to a big old backpack because the shawl has just gotten so big, it wasn't fitting in any of my project bags. And I needed something that was still portable enough to take with me to the chemo center. I'm going to go ahead and do all my knitting first, and then I'll show you something else that I worked on. I picked up my socks. Sometimes when we go places, I can't always take, like, to certain doctor's appointments, I can't take the shawl because it's so big to pull out, and with 400 stitches, it's just too much to bring out and take in public and stuff. So I took out my socks instead and a couple of my little rendezvous errand runnings, visitation, things like that. So I was here last time. So I did quite a bit on my little socky here. Only worked on one. I think I'm going to work mostly on one sock until it gets all the way to the heel, and then I'll come over to the other one because this one's just got its poor little sad toe. But now you can see, I believe, yep, because this is where I started with this light purplish color, and it goes all the way through to the maroon, and then it comes back to that light purple. So you can see the progression of the stripes. And while I've been at home, I've been working on the log cabin mitts. First, let me show you. Look at all these ends that I have to weave in. Hi-yi-yi. Because when you're doing like a log cabin, it's just like a quilted log cabin. Let me tuck all my ends in there and hide them. You start with your center square, then you add another, and then you add another block, a log, that's the same as these two, and then you just keep working your way around. So I'm on the longest log here that's going to go all the way along the edge, and I believe that's going to finish up this mitt, except I have to do something in order to connect this side with that side and turn it into a thumb. And then you still got to knit around here. So I still have a lot of knitting on this one mitt, but this yarn is just really pretty. So this is a free pattern. You can find it on Ravelry to link all your projects to, but I believe you have to go off-site to print it. And it should be on Fringe Association's site, but all the links are right down below in my Ravelry page, even though, once again, I don't have pictures up, but I do have the links so you can find them. The yarn is a Verb for Keeping Warm. This is a naturally dyed log cabin mitts kit in the colorway Mountain. So I have a light purple, a cream, a light gray, and then like a light brown or a tan. They're very, very subtle as the colors are changing. You can see it's not gonna be like, it's not like my colors when I do something. You see when I do things, it looks like this. It just jumps out at you. But I think this looks much nicer with the log cabin mitts in the nice subtle changes like this. A few people have used leftover yarns and they've gotten really bold and bright. And I think with this type of design, Crazy Robin doesn't work. You need kind of subtle and gentle. So these are turning out really pretty. I can't wait to get to the point to they're actually a mitt so I can see where the magic is and how it all gets put together. Oh, and this yarn, look at the stitch definition in the yarn. You can see all the nice little stitches. It's 100% wool, I believe. It's from the same company that did the yarn from the hat I was knitting before, the cream, and yes, California wool yarn. So it's really nice. It's going to block out really well. It's going to be nice and warm. It's not like super baby soft, but it doesn't feel scratchy like some wool does. And it's just showing all the stitches really nicely. Now that's it for the knitting. Now I did bring out, I was working on something the other day and I thought, I did not touch the February Little Inchies project at all from Crabapple Hill, where they were doing the embroidery stitch along. Here's a little reminder of what it is when they're doing a square each day of the month and they're showing you different embroidery stitches. I haven't been following along with them because I didn't need to learn the stitches. As we've already gone through that process, we've already learned a bunch of stitches recently. Well, last year, that's still recent. So I pulled it out yesterday just to get a little bit of work done on it. And as far as I got is I just outlined these 3 3/4. I ran out, I had a half a thread to run through part of this, and then one more length of thread, and I just got that far, and then I put it away. I wanted to at least get something done on it. I feel like I need to do the majority of the frames first now. I mean, I did it on February 1st, right? Or thereabouts, somewhere near, and got one block done. I'll come back to it because I really want to get this done so I can get it up on my wall and have it as a mini quilt. Just once I finish that shawl, I'll be able to take projects like this with me when we go and sit at the, for Rob's treatment and stuff like that. I have about 1.5 hours to, some days when we do IV therapy, it's 1.5 hours that we actually sit in one spot. And when we're sitting in the waiting room, I don't want to pull that big shawl out. And when we go through these different stages, as I've explained to you in that life update video, or you will see it in the near future. It's kind of strange when I don't know when I posted that video yet. But anyway, I have like 1.5 hour chunk 4 days a week that we're sitting in one spot. And then on chemo day, it's more like a 5.5 hour sitting in one spot. So that's why I'm taking that shawl, because it's too big now, as I said, to just pull it out all the time. But when that's done, I can get a lot of this done in that 1.5 hour to a 5 hour day. My other embroidery project, which I like to embroider on when I do my update videos, is my snowman. He's looking quite dapper. I managed to get all the way through here and this section done. So it won't be much longer and I'll have his vest done. I'll probably be moving over here. Poor guy needs to have part of his arm still put back on in his little pocket. So I thought he's coming along really cute. Granted, it's going to get done and we won't have winter here in Florida anymore because we're already past that. We're coming into March. We're getting into our warmer days. We've already had a 90-degree day and I'm sure we're going to be staying in the 80s and if not above for the rest of the time now. But I don't mind working on a snowman during the spring and summertime. I'll even hang them up on my wall. I don't care if it's not winter time. I can decorate in the wrong seasons and the wrong holidays. That does not bother me at all. I'll put Santa Claus up in the middle of Valentine's Day or in Labor Day. So that's it for me. I told you it was a little pile this week. I didn't even ramble on that much. Well, I did ramble a little because that's what I do, right? I get many, many comments that say, gee, Robin, you sure do like to talk, right? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And that's okay. You guys like to listen, right? Alright, don't forget, if you enjoy videos like this, click that subscribe button and like the video. And if you have any friends who might want to hang out with us in our little crafty endeavors here, go ahead and share the video and let them know. Come on over, we'll all have a party together. And let me know down in the comments what you're working on this week. Because we don't need to be one-sided. You guys see what I'm working on all the time. I really do enjoy hearing about what you're working on. Even though sometimes we give each other ideas and then our to-do list gets a little bit longer. But that's all right, because just having a couple things on my list keeps me kind of a little bored. I like to have a wide variety of things to work on, if you haven't already noticed. And once again, I'm rambling on. So I'm going to let you guys go, and I'll see you next week. Bye!